Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk about the herbs and stones pathways. It's an interesting VCA matrix mixer with some interesting tools here that allows you to create very interesting experimental things. Also, it's made in Italy, so being Italian, I'm really always happy to review and demo Italian products. So I created this sort of setup because these things, of course, calls for experimentation and weird things. So I decided to have the Lyra, some effects, and the OP1. I practice a little with it, and I feel that it's a pretty cool way to create ambient, evolving patches. With something like this, you can start creating a performance and moving into different instruments and different phases with just turning some knob and automating or modulating things with this part here. But before explaining what's happening here, as usual, some way you can support this page. You can subscribe and share this content, free and easy. You can buy from the affiliate link down below, or you can become a Patreon. On Patreon I usually do more in-depth review and share ideas about creativity and music. Okay, so let's talk about what is these things, because if you're not used to matrix mixer, this could be a little intimidating. Let's first remove every modulation. And let's turn off everything. So, simply put, this is a sort of mixer. You have 4 in here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 output, A, B, C, and D. Each input has a gain control here, and this gain control is powerful enough that if you patch back the output into the input, you can self-oscillate, so you can create a 4-voice polyphonic drone machine. We can try that at the end. And then here there's all this patch point in which you can decide how to route your signal. So let's start simple. So let's say I have my OP1 here. So let's just I'm using a piano sound. I'm using the poly as a sequencer. What they call this one? The hold is a new sequencer. You just hold the note. So let's play a few notes. And so far nothing happened, right? Because so the signal is here. So is in this row, column number 1. And I place the output on D, output D. So the output goes inside the Teenage Engineering TX6 that had a tiny bit of reverb, and then goes into the sound card. So, following all the path, I will have to start turning this knob because it sends this signal on column 1 to D. You can follow the line here. So if I turn this one, here it is. And now you start hearing the OP1. Beside that, it's very interesting using this hold sequencer, because when you use it with a sample, it will start to loop, so it will create this thing with different starting point, and the shorter it is, the faster the loop goes. Okay, let's keep this something like that because it sounds nice. So at this moment we have some effects going on in the OP1. On the master channel I have the dimension. No, what's the name? This is the mother. Dimension is the synth. And something here. I will remove everything. So this is the clean sound of the piano. So what if now we want to feed this sound towards other of our pedals, and we have the Microcosm, the Mood, and the Nightsky. So let's say I want to send this sound to the Microcosm. I put the Microcosm input, so the output of the Microcosm goes in channel 2, let's call this channel whatever, and the input is on A. So if I turn this knob, the signal will be routed into this, and it will keep being routed to the output. So let's send signal to it. Of course you don't hear anything, because what happened now? The signal goes here, A goes inside the Microcosm, and then from the Microcosm come back in channel 2. So now to hear it, I have to just rotate this knob. And here it is. Now I can actually remove the dry signal here, and I can hear only the Microcosm. What can I do now? I can keep feeding this tune to other of my pedals. Let's say I have here, I have the Nightsky, so let's send it to the Nightsky. Same concept as before, this going B. B is the input of the Nightsky, and from the Nightsky I go into channel 3. So let's turn this up. And here it is. Now we are hearing just the Nightsky. All right. And as you can imagine, now it's time to feed. You don't have even to hear what's happening. So this is interesting because you can create in a performance stuff without hearing what's happening. For example, now I can decide to listen to the Microcosm while play something on the OP1 and send it to the Mood. But let's make not too complicated. So right now I know that the piano sound goes in this, that is C, that goes inside the Mood, from the Mood back in channel 4. So let's record something. I know we don't hear anything, but so you understand what I'm saying. And now there's something recorded in the buffer. If I turn this, I should be able to hear it. Here it is. I'm hearing also, here it is. This was part of, this is the full. So right now, with this 4 knob at the end, I can control the volume of all the instrument that I have here. Piano, Microcosm, Nightsky. So we started from a simple sequence here, and we already have an interesting wash, ambient wash. Now you can tell me, okay, this is not that much different of having a send and return from a mixer. Of course, what is interesting now, it's we used it in the most basic way, because what you can do is start now feedback this sound into themselves or the other pedal. So let's turn off this. So if I turn off this 3, now nothing, there's not gonna be anything more here. Here on the Microcosm, yes, because we have the repeat set to infinite, so it will go forever. But say, okay, we want this sound goes into the Microcosm, and now we want to feed the sound of the Microcosm into the Nightsky. So in this case, I just do this. And now, what I hear here, it's the sound that has been first processed in the Microcosm and then goes inside this one. So you already should understand that this is interesting, because you can create different evolving chains. And for example, now I can also decide to send this sound back on the microcosm, so creating a feedback. Maybe now I want to record this sound here into the mood, so I can feed the mood with all of these three, re-record, and now listen what's come out. So what is interesting now is, for example, I can create, I create this piece, right? Pretty simple, and it's an ambient wash, and I can be here for a while. I feed this sound to the mood. This is recording. I recorded the buffer for a while. I stop, and now I know that I have the sound here, so I can start introduce the sound. And in the meanwhile, I can remove what was happening before. Of course, that was not a good move, but anyway, you have now these things happening. And now I can decide, let's restart from here, and I want to feed this sound to the microcosm and the Strymon. So I think there's a little faulty potentiometer here. It's the only one that scratched a little. So it's pretty cool, right? Now we have still the same kind of vibe, but we can evolve. And what I can do is that I freed my first channel, so I can create something here. And if I had, for example, a tune that I have pre-recorded on an OP1, I can press play. So now there's something going on here. And when I want, I can introduce something else. And so now I'm in another composition, and I can start this kind of game again. And now I want this sound to go into the microcosm or Nightsky. So I remove the sound from the mood, I reset everything, and now I can have that. So, this is just to kinda explain what's happening at the level of mixing possibility. Yes, it's a mixer. It's like having a sort of aux send that is pretty versatile and can allow you to send the same signal to many other things, feedback into it, and then you can actually create weird things because you can feedback. Say we have these. I can feedback the same sound into it, and as I can hear, we start little by little will go in like in a sort of feedback because the sound go back and back and back. Oh, exactly, that's what happened, because if I was 100% wet, but if you put it less than 100%, it's gonna feedback. so you can control it. Or if you're interested in like a drone sound or noise, you can actually play with that and create powerful, you know, destructive sound. Let me find something else. This is still going on, that's why it was weird. Let's find something else. So another things that I feel it's interesting that actually set these things apart from regular matrix mixer is this part here. So what do you have? First, input 4 is normal to an envelope follower here. So if you have some rhythm, something that actually create some transient or some envelope, these will be then sent to this multiplier. So you can have gate signal coming out of this. Not only gate, I think you can also have like actually an envelope. And then this can be fed to this CV input. And these CV input are controllable with any modular system, of course. Then you have two LFOs. This one is called the X LFO with two output that are 180 degree flipped, as you can see when one goes in, the other one is not. You can decide to be a triangle or a square. And then here you have the rate. This can be also fed with another signal. So if you put a signal to control the LFO, this is a attenuator. And then you have a Y LFO that is just a sawtooth descending and ascending. So it creates two different effects. We'll see how. Controllable with CV, or you go with rate. What you can do if you don't have a source, say we're playing with this, we do this sort of ambient kind of stuff. So let's put back, should we try with the Lyra? No, we'll try the Lyra later because that will take a little time. So, for example, if I put this here, you already understand what can this thing do. So let's do something interesting. So let's first create a clock. So we will use this guy in square, feed here in external, so we will have three different signal there. And we use this one to control the CV. And now let's feed this signal to the mood and let's record something. So, with this you start creating something more rhythmical. Let's now send both the signal of this and this to the Nightsky. And let's use the envelope to modulate this. So the envelope of the mood in 4 here, it's now modulating this. use something more interesting. Let's use maybe this. Yeah. It's mostly everything is on tempo because we're using this LFO here to control the external here and keep everything on a sort of clock. Now let's feed these on the microcosm, so we will have the microcosm going on. Let's find something we like. So, of course, this is something that I create on the fly, and what is interesting though is that I wouldn't know how to create this kind of texture if I didn't have something like this. So I never played with something like this, and I think it's interesting because it allows you to experiment with your chains in a way that I never did before, and then you can start create some feedback. You can also modulate these, so you can send, let's say we want to send the signal in the microcosm like this, so once in a while. And of course, we went a little overboard. Let's play with something else. Let's add the Lyra, and let's go crazier, because with the Lyra we always go crazier. Okay, classic Lyra. And here, yeah, you know, you can go like drone paradise. Let's record something into the mood. now it's like a sort of playground, because even though if you don't know exactly what happened, you can start tweaking and getting something weird that has still a rhythm going on because it's created here. Okay, so you can go on and have fun with this kind of stuff. I want to try now, I never did it, so let me try to self-patch the thing. So I will do a couple of more patches just to show some sound, and then we will do the self-patching experiment to create a drum machine. Give me a second. Here it is, another patch. It's just one single chord. Let me have some reverb there. Let me have some reverb here to make it more interesting. And then there's this. There's this. It's very nice. And then there's this. Oh, there's nothing because probably I didn't record enough buffer. Oh, nice. There it is. And then there's some feedback going on and some modulation. Now, I have just this chord, but of course, if you play and you are a player, you can have this, set it up and just have something evolving around what you're doing. Now I'm just playing some simple chord. So this would be just a simple and it's easy to just start adding this very interesting texture that happened behind. Of course, all the textures are made by the effect you have, but the cool idea here is just like you can experiment with many things that you have. Again, let me try now with everything patch in itself. Oh, by the way, here it's nice, these tails. It's very cool. Again, there's something here. Oh, you can feed that, for example. I always like this, try to stop something, but then there's something happening nice, and now I'm feeding back the mood into this other channel. I feel this could be a very simple way to do an ambient performance, having everything going on. This is very nice. And this is all made by single notes, so it's pretty simple. You can of course do some chord if you are brave. Very nice. Alright, now I self-patched everything in itself. So channel 1 goes in A to this cable like this. So this creates a feedback and actually start create tones because it's self-oscillate. You go here in like crazy land. And please don't ask me what's happened actually, because I don't know, so it's just a matter of tweaking the thing. I'm pretty sure this one with the right filters after, and like some other chain of effect after, these could be pretty interesting, but it's definitely not my cup of tea. Like, I'm not expert in this kind of experimentation, but it's pretty interesting. I don't know if you like this kind of stuff. Maybe there's a way to just record interesting thing. Okay, let's go to conclusion now. So, what I think about the pathways. It's pretty interesting. It's definitely not the kind of tool that I used so far, but as you can imagine, when you go out a little out of your comfort zone, it's where you find interesting thing. So I would use these to create mostly texture effects, and I'm actually considering to use it to create a ambient performance in which these allow me to transition between part of the track of the song I'm performing, all hands on. It's definitely a particular unique instrument. It's not small, so it needs a little space. At the same time, it's something that needs hands-on control. So I appreciate the fact that it's nice and well built, because you will have to touch this knob a lot. So I saw there's a smaller matrix mixer, even more complex in the way of input or output, but this one I feel it's tailored for live performances and sound control, and it's comfortable. It feels nice. That said, yes, I feel that if you own a lot of pedals, you can have just one instrument, even one note, and then start to mangle the sound with all of these feedback loops, with all the LFOs and stuff. And if you have a modular system, you can patch things in here and create something really, really unique. So let me also thank Herbs and Stone that sent this unit for me to demo, and all good luck to them. As I said before, Italian people that I love to support. And that's it for today. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Ciao.